double-header Thursday. The first match coming up between Mumbai and Rajasthan Royals, and the second will be between Kolkata and Delhi. Let's talk about the first game. In fact, both the teams having played 5 matches, they have only managed to win two this season. It's a little bit of a surprise for the champions Mumbai Indians that they have not really made a blazing start this season. When you look at a head-to-head stat between these two teams, both of them have won 12 matches each. So what's the fantasy outlook going to be like for this game? I'm joined by my fantasy gully expert, Babashish Nanda, at this hour. Babashish, both these teams packed with some big guns. They have underperformed. So could you shed some light on the underperformance and who could come out as heroes tonight?
Spot on, Rika, and thanks a lot for having me. Because you mentioned they haven't got those wins under their belt because of these players. These players are expected to play more important roles, but they just haven't. It could just be bad form, it could be bad planning, it could be bad execution. But in that list, there's someone like Ishan Kishan, who's rated so very highly, not just in the Mumbai setup, but of course now in the Indian setup as well. But he's someone who hasn't done much, not just with the bat, but of course, in terms of how he's approached this tournament, he looks a little unsure about his place. So is someone like Yadav. Remember that he's the classical off spinner, doesn't bowl a lot of other deliveries. So he's someone who has to probably innovate. Again, both Ishan Kishan and Yadav coming in with a fantasy gully rating of 7.1. Once you cross the 7 threshold, expectations rise. You are supposed to win games at phases. Same is the case with Yadav Untitled. Coming back with a wonderful domestic season last year. He's someone Rajasthan has trusted, but Yadav just has to perform consistently. So far, that hasn't happened.
Well, tell me, who are the ones who could redeem themselves tonight?
Well, as you rightly mentioned, these are the players who were expected to do well, but then they haven't really got a lot of chances. But even in the chances that they have got, which are far and few, they still have given you fantasy points. So someone like Riyan Parag, 7.4 fantasy gully rating, you don't expect Riyan Parag to go on and get you a match-winning 100. He doesn't have that amount of time. But if he can score a good-looking 30 with boundaries and then get you wickets, because he has been bowling regularly, and then someone like Rahul Tewatia, hardly finishing his 4 overs quota. But if he does, if he gets a couple of overs, you never know, he might get some turn, and then late order striking will get you fantasy points as well. Someone who averages about 33 fantasy points. Now that can go up as we go on in this tournament. And then again, Krunal Pandey. I would like to say he's the better Pandey right now because he's giving you both the skills consistently. But then again, if Mumbai has to do well, Krunal Pandey has to play a much bigger role.
Well, Kiran Pollard calls him the smarter Pandya. Talking about the top performers in the last game, who were your best picks?
Well, someone like Rohit Sharma, who just told everyone that he's always one good shot away from getting back to form. It's not even like one good inning. So he scored about 84 points. He was right up there, followed by Surya Kumar Yadav. I think the problem with Surya Kumar Yadav is he's always getting a start, but it's about finishing it. It's about converting that good-looking 30 into a match-winning 75. He gave you about 54 points. Someone like Rahul Chahar, who's been phenomenal in this tournament, he was amongst the points. And as far as Rajasthan is concerned, bits and pieces here and there. Chris Morris, magnificent. This is the breakthrough season for him. 134 fantasy points that he gave in the last game. And then Sanju Samson and Yashasvi Jaiswal. Jaiswal, remember, with now Bora out of the scheme of things, Jaiswal will be persisted with. Good little budget pick. You can persist with him too.
Okay, so let's talk about the next game of the day, which will be between Delhi and Kolkata. Delhi coming from 2 heart-stopping performances. One was a super over finish. They won. The other, they lost by just 1 run. Kolkata, on the other hand, got a stable win. Now this match is going to happen in Ahmedabad, where bowling second is increasingly difficult, and it's become increasingly difficult. Do you see that change during the course of the tournament?
Well, I mean, what we are seeing so far is just underlights that wicket is getting just amazing to bat on. And you'll have to look at what is the strength of both of these sides. If Delhi are chasing under lights in that ground with that gun batting lineup, you expect them to just run past bowling attacks. Having said that, Kolkata just possess the same ability, and they reconfirmed that in the last game when Morgan, just putting his heart out there and he batted through. He ensured that Kolkata didn't make another slip up. So yeah, considering the conditions in both of these batting teams, you expect the chasing team to dominate no matter what.
Another match, Babashish, where we have some must-have picks. How does one making a fantasy team adjust the budget?
Very crucial, because out of those big guns, when you're putting those 9.5 credit, 10 credit again and again, you will need players who come in for high value for money, starting with someone like Akshar Patel. Left arm spinner, I would really want to see Akshar Patel bat slightly higher up. Delhi will have to be careful because Hetmeyer again came back to form. But Akshar Patel, with just his bowling skills, we know what he did in the Test series in this ground. Let's hope that white ball cricket continues to help him in this format, basically. Then there is Amit Mishra, tons of experience. What we have seen from Amit Mishra right now is that he is not going by reputation. No matter who the batsman is, he's going to follow his plan. So he's someone, another fantastic budget pick, followed by Prashid Krishna. We're talking about Prashid Krishna again and again, but it's magnificent to see just the variations, the sheer variety that he possesses, and followed by Shivam Mavi, who was magnificent with the new ball.
What about Shubman Gill? Do you expect the axe to fall on him now? They've tried him for quite a few matches and he hasn't really delivered.
Well, it's a harsh world. It's cutthroat, to be very honest, and they've got options. They've got either the option of Rahul Tripathi, who can just bat one position higher up and open, and Sunil Narine. To be very honest, Sunil Narine has been underutilized. No matter how bad a form he was in previously, if he's coming up and if he's in your playing 11, you rather use him in the power play. So if you just compare Sunil Narine and Rahul Tripathi as an opener, Sunil Narine gives you a strike rate of 177, Rahul Tripathi about 138.
Right.
Both are better than Shubman Gill. This is what the fantasy analysis and stats tell you. I'll tell you what I feel about Shubman Gill. I think he's a fantastic player. I think the young Virat Kohlis, the young Rohit Sharmas wouldn't have become the legends they are if they wouldn't have been persistent with their franchisee then. So I expect Kolkata to just show a little more patience with Gill and persist with him.
Who will be your final 11 for this match? Fantasy 11 I'm talking about for this match.
I'll tell you the top ones who will probably feature in most people's fantasy 11, followed by Shikhar Dhawan. 9.1 fantasy gully rating, amazing form. He has to be there definitely. Followed by Russell. You cannot just keep him out. If he bowls just for 2 overs, he'll still get you points. So yeah, Russell is another player. Followed by Prithvi Shaw. I would like to believe that Prithvi Shaw still thinks that he hasn't hit top form. So when he does hit top form, he's going to get you a lot more fantasy points. Someone like Avesh Khan, who's been phenomenal with the new and old ball, used the short ball magnificently in the last game. You can expect more points for him. And the man that I just mentioned in the last segment, Sunil Narine, remodeled action, lot of different deliveries. More importantly, he's confident with the bat these days again.
2 interesting matches coming up today. So if you want to make your fantasy team, just go to fantasygully.com or ndtv.com and look up the various combinations that there are, and then you can make your own team too. Thank you very much, Babashish, for joining us.